Hey everyone, Luke Dog here, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. Morrigan has now joined our company, and now we're about to head off to try and recruit some help. Let's get going. To the world map. As soon as we finish saving. Flauna's Hut, hidden home of the infamous Witch of the Wilds. Lothering, a small town just off the Imperial Highway at the edge of the hinterlands. Brazilian outskirts, the edge of the Brazilian forest, the dangers of which are well recorded in local legends. Denerim, Ferelden's largest city and main port. It's also the location of the royal palace. The party camp, the current party campsite. Ostagar, a ruined fortress. Ostagar has stood since the time of the ancient Teventer Imperium. The Kolkari Wilds, the savage wetlands of the south. This wilderness is the source of the Darkspawn Blight. Redcliffe, a fishing village on the shores of Lake Calenhad. Redcliffe Castle, a fortress high above the village, the home of Arl Eamon Gwyryn. Soldier's Pass. Although the route is more treacherous than Gerland's Pass to the north, Soldier's Pass can shave more than 2 days' travel off the journey to Orlais. The Frostback Mountains, a range of dramatic peaks that stretches across western Ferelden, forming a natural border with Orlais. The Circle Tower. Rising out of the middle of Lake Calenhad, this tower is the home of Ferelden's Circle of Magi. And the Lake Calenhad docks. Sitting in the shadows of the old Imperial Highway, these docks are now the only means to reach the tower. Well, right now, the only place we can go is Lothering, so let's head there. Follow the blood spurt path steps. Just gotta load in the next bit.
And I expect each of you to supply these men. We must rebuild what was lost at Ostagar, and quickly. There are those who would take advantage of our weakened state if we let them. We must defeat this Darkspawn incursion, but we must do so sensibly and without hesitation.
Your Lordship, if I might speak. You have declared yourself Queen Anora's regent, and claim we must unite under your banner for our own good. But what of the army lost at Ostagar? Your withdrawal was most fortuitous.
Everything I have done has been to secure Ferelden's independence. I have not shirked my duty to the throne, and neither will any of you!
The Banon will not bow to you simply because you demand it.
Understand this. I will brook no threat to this nation from you or anyone.
Van Tegan, please!
Your Majesty, your father risks civil war. If Eamon were here...
Van Tegan, my father is doing what is best.
Did he also do what was best for your husband, Your Majesty?
Wake up, gentlemen. More travelers to attend to. I'd guess that fellow is the leader.
They don't look much like them others, you know. Maybe we should just let these ones pass.
Nonsense. Greetings, travelers.
Highwaymen, preying on those fleeing the Darkspawn, I suppose.
They are fools to get in our way. I say, teach them a lesson.
Now, is that any way to greet someone? A simple 10 silvers, and you're free to move on.
I don't have that kind of coin.
Ah, and if I don't believe you, how do we solve this predicament?
Do you really want to fight a Grey Warden?
Did he say he's a Grey Warden? Them ones killed the king.
Traitors to Ferelden, I hear. Tern Loghain put quite a bounty on any who are found.
But aren't them Grey Wardens good? I mean, really good? Good enough to kill a king?
You have a point. Well, let's forget about the toll. We'll just leave you to your Darkspawn fighting, king-killing ways.
You know, the Grey Wardens could use a donation.
You don't say.
They is really good, boss. Remember?
Well, yes. 20 silvers? That's all we've collected today.
An excellent donation. Thank you.
Then take it. Do enjoy your stay in Lothering and all that.
Hee hee hee. Okay. Seek out Arl Eamon. Alistair thinks you should seek the help of Eamon Gwyryn, the Arl of Redcliffe. Arl Eamon is a highly respected noble and has a great deal of influence in the Landsmeet. Alistair believes that he will certainly aid you once he learns about Loghain's betrayal. Gain Orzamar's aid in battling the Blight. You need to travel deep underground to the fabled dwarven city of Orzamar to earn the trust of her king and dwarven troops for your army. Gain the cooperation of the Dalish clans. The wandering Dalish elves, if brought together, are a force to be reckoned with. While they remain suspicious of outsiders, they may still honor the old Grey Warden treaties. Go to the Dalish elves and seek their help to fight the Blight. Gather the mages of the Circle for your army. The Circle of Magi is a group of powerful mages. If you can enlist their help, they will prove formidable against the Darkspawn. The Circle Tower is situated on Lake Calenhad. Rest and resupply. You have arrived in Lothering, and may rest and resupply here. Past the village lies the Imperial Highway, the road that runs through all of Ferelden. The highway will take you to the various places you need to go. Redcliffe, the Brazilian Forest, the Circle of Magi's Tower, and the Dwarven City of Orzamar. Deal with the bandits taking advantage of travelers. Bandits have set up a barricade on the road to Lothering. They are robbing innocent travelers by forcing them to pay a toll. You revealed that you are a Grey Warden and they let you go, afraid to cross you. You found the body of a Templar slain by bandits. His corpse has been picked clean of everything save a note and a locket. Perhaps the locket will mean something to someone back in Lothering. A note from Sir Henrik. So many of my fellow knights have been searching for the urn. Surely one of them must have found Brother Genetivi by now. Still, until I hear that all is well, I must proceed as planned. Brother Genetivi holds the key to finding the Urn of Sacred Ashes. We always knew this, but I believe I now know where Brother Genetivi lies. I have been to his home in Denerim and found the trail, and I'm amazed that other knights have not done likewise. Unless they have? No, it's best not to get caught up in thoughts of conspiracy. Sir Donald awaits my report in Lothering. I must go to him immediately and report what I have learned. Should anyone find these ramblings, all I ask is that he be informed of my fate. I pray that he complete what I cannot. No, wait. Alistair. You know, one good thing about the Blight is how it brings people together. Alistair was a novice Templar when Duncan recruited him into the Grey Wardens, or rescued him, as Alistair would say. His mother was a serving girl, who died when Alistair was very young. He was raised by Eamon Gwyryn, Earl of Redcliffe, for a time. Queen and Nora. We have been given the gift of freedom by our forebears. Let us not squander it. The only child of the war hero Logain MacTyr, Honora has never been one to stay quietly on the background. It's common knowledge that in the 5 years Honora and Kaelin held the throne together, she was the one wielding the power. She is held in much higher esteem than her husband by the people of Ferelden, nobility and commoners alike, and commands the respect even of foreign nations, having once inspired Empress Celine of Orlais to declare, Honora of Ferelden is a solitary rose among brambles. Arl Eamon Gweren. Nobility does not exist without obligation. We owe all we have, even our lives, to our land and our people. As the maternal uncle of King Kaelin, Arl Eamon is one of the king's most trusted advisors. Redcliffe, while not a large or especially wealthy part of Ferelden, is a critical strategic location. The fortress guards the western pass that leads to Orlais, as well as the major trade route with Orzammar. A well-respected man, though not the most charismatic, King Kaelin once said of him, "My Uncle Eamon is a man everyone thinks well of, when they remember to think of him at all." What else do we got? Flemeth, I think. You are required to do nothing, least of all believe. Ages ago, legend says Ban Conobar took to wife a beautiful young woman who harbored a secret talent for magic, Flemeth of Highever. Oh, she was from Highever too! And for a time they lived happily, until the arrival of a young poet, Ozin, who captured the lady's heart with his verse. They turned to the Chastened tribes for help and hid from Conobar's wrath in the wilds, until word came to them that Conobar lay dying. His last wish was to see Flemeth's face one final time. The lovers reunited, but it was a trap. Conobar killed Ozin and imprisoned Flemeth in the highest tower of the castle. In grief and rage, Flemeth worked a spell to summon a spirit into this world to wreak vengeance upon her husband. Vengeance she received, but not as she planned. The spirit took possession of her, turning Flemeth into an abomination. A twisted, maddened creature, she slaughtered Conobar and all his men, and fled back into the wilds. For 100 years, Flemeth plotted, stealing men from the Chastened to sire monstrous daughters, horrific things that could kill a man with fear. These Kokari witches led an army of Chastened from the wilds to strike at the Alamari tribes. They were defeated by the hero Cormac, and all the witches burned, so they say. But even now the wilders whisper that Flemeth lives in the marshes, and she and her daughters steal those men who come too near. Morrigan's mother saved the last Grey Wardens from the death at the top of the Tower of Vishal, but just who or what Flemeth truly is a mystery. Still more? Logain. He then returned to Denerim and declared himself the regent to his daughter Queen Honora, demanding that Ferelden follow him against the Darkspawn, upsetting a great many of the bands. Still more, jeez. Her mother claimed to be Flemeth. If that's true, Morrigan might well be a very powerful witch, for the tales of the daughters of Flemeth tell of twisted, monstrous women who can kill a man with fear. She was made to accompany the surviving Grey Wardens. The payment, Flemeth said, for saving their lives at the Tower of Vishal. The Bannerlord would not bow to you simply because you demand it. Younger brother to Arl Eamon of Redcliffe and uncle to King Kaelin, Tegan holds the Bannerlord of Rainsfur, a tiny province of Redcliffs squeezed between the Frostback Mountains and Lake Calenhad. Ban Tegan avoids the Denerim court except to go hunting with his nephew, and rarely makes himself heard at the Landsmeet, preferring to leave politics to his brother. Lothering. In ancient times, Lothering was little more than a trading post that served the fortress of Ostagar to the south. Nowadays, it is larger, serving Redcliffe and the community of merchants and surface dwarves near Orzammar. Its location on the North Road gives it strategic value, so control of Lothering has historically been a matter of contention between the southern Bannerlord and the South Reach Arling. King Calenhad himself stepped in and awarded the town to Southreach in the Exalted Age, which has largely ended the feud, or at least the appearance of it.
Back, are you? Well, I thought we settled things nice and amicably with you wardens.
I want some questions answered.
About what? We're just, you know, greeting travelers.
Actually, it's more refugees.
Yes, fine. Life's hard all over. Nothing of concern to you Grey Wardens.
Yeah. You said something about Grey Wardens killing the king.
Everyone's saying how the Grey Wardens betrayed the king during the Darkspawn fight. Got him and themselves killed. Turn Logain pulled out just in time. First thing he's doing as regent is putting a bounty on Grey Wardens.
It's time for you and your men to leave.
Well, we don't want trouble, so yes, we'll do that. Thank you for sparing us.
But you said these refugee types was easy pickings.
There are better pastures elsewhere, you fool. Time to go.
Well, that'll do well for the next travelers that come by. Injury kits.
Well, there it is. Lothering. Pretty as a painting.
Ah, so you have finally decided to rejoin us, have you? Falling on your blade in grief seemed like too much trouble, I take it.
Is my being upset so hard to understand? Have you never lost someone important to you? Just what would you do if your mother died?
Before or after I stopped laughing?
Right, very creepy. Forget I asked.
What do you want to talk about, Alistair?
His navel, I suspect. He certainly has been contemplating it for long enough.
Oh, I get it. This is the part where we're shocked to discover how you've never had a friend your entire life.
I can be friendly when I desire to. Alas, desiring to be more intelligent does not make it so.
Anyway, I thought we should talk about where we intend to go first.
You have some thoughts on that point, Alistair?
This should be good.
I think what Flemeth suggested is the best idea. These treaties, have you looked at them?
No, not yet.
There are three main groups that we have treaties for. The Dalish Elves, the Dwarves of Orzammar, and the Circle of Magi. I also still think that Arleman is our best bet for help. We might even want to go to him first.
What do you think we should do, Morgan?
Go after your enemy directly. Find this man Logain and kill him. The rest of this business with the treaties can then be done in safety.
Yes, he certainly wouldn't see that coming, and it's not like he has the advantage of an army and experience and...
I was asked for my opinion and I gave it. If your wish is to come up with reasons why something cannot be done, we will stand here until the Darkspawn are upon us.
Is there a way to contact the Grey Wardens?
Short of leaving for Eldon to seek them out, the only place to send word to would be Weishaupt Fortress. And that's thousands of miles away.
Why are you leaving it up to me?
Well, I don't know where we should go. I'll do whatever you decide.
Now that is unsurprising.
Arleman is a good man, but I don't know for sure he's where we should go. I'm not going to fight about it.
Then we need to find these people.
I can give you directions, if you like.
Where do we find Arl Eamon?
He'll be at Castle Redcliffe, in the far western part of Ferelden, next to the mountain passes. If he isn't there, someone will be able to tell us where he is.
Where will we find the Where will we find the Dalish elves? I cannot speak.
If we head eastward, towards the Brazilian forest, we should hear word of one of the clans that wanders that area. Hopefully they will still be there.
Where do we find the dwarves?
We would need to speak to their king in Orzammar. That means heading west into the Frostback Mountains, which won't be easy.
Where do we find the Circle of Magi?
That will be at their tower on Lake Carlinhard to the north. We'll be looking for the first enchanter, whoever that is.
Where would Logan be exactly?
If he isn't out in the field with his army, he's probably going to be at the palace in Denerim. We can go to Denerim, but somehow I suspect that they're not going to let us just walk around. Only a suspicion, of course.
I don't need any more directions now.
Then you have a plan.
I'm ready to get going.
Fair enough. Let's head into the village whenever you're ready.
Saving content.
What do you need?
Do you want to talk about Duncan?
You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
I just thought you might need to talk.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the Blight and everything. I'm sorry.
There's no need to apologize.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
He had you.
I suppose he did. It probably sounds stupid, but part of me wishes I was with him, in the battle. I feel like I abandoned him.
He saved your life by sending you to the tower.
Yes, I know. I think he came from High Ever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
Yes. Geez, everyone seems to be somehow connected to High Ever. My entire family was murdered just recently.
Oh, of course. How stupid of me to forget. Here I am going on and on about Duncan, and you... I am so sorry. Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Anytime, Alistair.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
What can a Templar do exactly?
Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
So couldn't others learn these talents?
Perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put two and two together.
So you were addicted to this lyrium?
Thankfully, no. You only start receiving lyrium once you've taken your vows. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templar's talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me. What do you need? Ask away.
Can you teach others to be a Templar?
I suppose I could. But I really would rather not. When the Grand Cleric let Duncan recruit me, she made me swear never to reveal Templar secrets outside of the Chantry. I'd rather not go back on my word.
Very well. I'll respect your word.
Ask me later, perhaps. Maybe I'll change my mind. This is not something small you're asking, after all.
Anything else?
What do you need? Ask away.
Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
Where are the nearest Grey Wardens from here?
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
Is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfells, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
So what happens now that there's just two of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
But we need to start rebuilding the Order?
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be two of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
Well, that's cheery. What would happen if we just left?
Just left? You mean just left Ferelden? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere. About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
So how did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
I mean before that.
Let's see. I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
So you don't seem like the religious sort.
You're telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
You think this is better than being a Templar?
Oh, I suppose the Chantry life is good enough for some. Here, we have the chance to fight against the Blight. To actually do some good instead of sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
I'm sorry.
No, it's... I'm sorry. I shouldn't be. It's fine. He died a hero. They all did. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
But I have more questions.
What do you need? Ask away.
So you said this Arl Eamon raised you?
Oh, did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
That would explain the smell.
Well, it wasn't until I was 8 that I discovered you didn't have to lick yourself clean. Old habits die hard, you know.
So does a horde of Darkspawn, I'm told.
Point taken. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arl Eamon wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
Why did he send you off to the Chantry?
Arl Eamon eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. but he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
You're probably luckier than most orphans.
I suppose you're right. I wasn't raised as the Arl's son, though, if you're picturing that. I slept in hay, out in the stables, not on silk sheets. I remember I had an amulet, with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
Are you sure he isn't your father?
Yes, I'm quite sure. At any rate, I don't look anything like him. You'll see for yourself. Not that it stopped the rumors any. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Kaelin's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Logain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
Alistair was a novice Templar when Duncan recruited him to the Grey Wardens, or rescued him, as Alistair would say. His mother was a servant girl, who died when Alistair was very young. He was raised by Eamon Grurin, Earl of Redcliffe, for a time. The Earl's wife, Isolde, suspected the reason her husband took an interest in the welfare of a servant's child was that Alistair was Eamon's son. She insisted that the boy be sent away to the Chantry. Morgan, let's talk about you.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
How did you become a shape changer?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
But it's just a legend, right?
So I assume. My mother has walked the wilds far longer than I. Who am I to suggest what things she has done and not done in her past? Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Can anyone become a shape changer?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. If you had a notion to learn such a skill for yourself, sadly, you must remain disappointed.
Do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do other animals think of you when you've changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
I've never heard of magic like that before.
No? 'Tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the Circle of Magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the Chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could, but as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
By practitioners, you mean apostates, don't you?
Not all apostates use the forbidden blood arts. Maleficarum do, but to condemn all who do not fall under the Circle's thrall for the sake of what might be is a dangerous path to walk. There are those who look on the word apostate as meaning freedom.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
I think your abilities sound quite useful.
Oh, you're simply full of surprises, little man, aren't you? But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
But I still want to talk.
What do you wish of me? If you must.
Can you teach others to become shape changers?
I cannot teach you, no. But any other mages that cared to learn, yes, I could do that. Send whoever you wish my way, and I shall teach them what I can in the camp, provided they possess the will to even make the attempt. What do you wish of me? If you must.
Did you grow up in the Kokari Wilds?
Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
I'm curious. What's wrong with that?
Any number of cats could inform you of the answer to that question, but have it your way. What is it you asked if I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
But you kept going back to the wilds?
Would you not do the same? Your world is an unforgiving and cold place. The wilds I hail from is home to me, and I a natural denizen. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
Very daring. That sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
That was quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
Touching? Like a handshake?
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Yeah, here you are.
Yes, Here I am. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes?
Can that actually happen?
What do you wish of me? If you must.
Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
You are very cute to ask so many questions.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Of course I don't. 'Tis no matter. My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
Fun? You found it fun?
I found the game fun. I was too young to understand the truth behind what was happening. Flemeth would warn them once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Did you actually kill them all?
Me? No, I never did any of the killing, until later. And even then, Flemeth was a glutton for that sort of thing. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
Do you still think that was fun?
I think that my mother made it fun so that a child did not learn to fear. And I think that it was necessary. There are no trials for apostates, no prisons, no mercy. There are only absolutes, so only survival matters. If the wilds have taught me anything, 'tis this. First, you must survive. Do you disagree?
You're probably right.
An enlightened view, or at least an agreeable one. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
But more questions.
What do you wish of me? If you must.
Is Flemeth really what she seems to be?
Well, that depends, does it not? What does she seem to be?
A powerful maleficar.
You mean, is she truly the Flemeth of legend and story? Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience.
I'm more interested in the truth.
I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire.
That sounds interesting.
As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful. A fair lass in a land of barbarian men, the desire of any who saw her.
Just how long ago was this?
Many centuries, before this land was even named Ferelden. The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the Bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord who looked on from afar. Lord Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed.
He sold his wife to another man?
The life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge.
She spoke to spirits? Or demons?
Spirits first, and 'twas they who slew Conobar. Flemeth did not turn to the demon until much later. Lord Conobar's allies chased Flemeth, you see. Chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong. The legends all speak of the great hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies.
Which? She never invaded, or he never defeated her?
The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began.
Do you believe her version?
I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has colored her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
How is it that Flemeth has survived for so long?
The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her.
The legend tells of Flemeth having many daughters.
You ask if I have sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one. And these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed. So, should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too.
Why would she refuse to speak of them?
The Chastened tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well.
Aren't abominations usually insane horrors?
How often is this usually? Always? If not always, then when is it not true? There are more things in this world and the next than you or I could ever hope to understand. What Flemeth became is a mystery. I suspect, even to her.
An interesting story. Thank you.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
My mother died recently, in fact.
Ah, then you have my sympathies for what it is worth. Which is very little, I am certain. It matters not. Let us move on.
It matters to me. It's probably Morgan, yeah. Morgan's critical eye is not reserved solely for others. Knowing or not, she has a simple fondness for jewelry and is very particular about her appearance.
I await your command.
So life in the wilds must have been very lonely.
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign to me. If I wished companionship, I ran with the wolves and flew with the birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
And did they speak back?
Don't be foolish. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
What happened then?
Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
But you were just a child.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
I feel sorry for you.
Sorry? There is no need to feel sorry for me. What is there to be sorry for? To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality.
Oh.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to discuss something personal.
We are hardly alone, so privacy is not an option. It is your question, however. Ask what you will.
Why are you still here?
I am here because Flemeth commanded me to aid you. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer.
Do you want to leave?
If I wanted to leave, then I would go. I remain, so do not ask such pointless questions.
God dang it! I'm messing this up. Sorry. Let's get some elf root.
Just how smart are Mabari supposed to be, anyway? Do you think they understand everything we say? Oh, is that so? You could just be listening to the tone of my voice. You could be an utter moron for all we know. Hey now! There's nothing saying that a moron can't be cute and adorable. Who's the cute and adorable puppy? Ignorance is bliss, isn't it? That's what the Chantry kept telling me anyhow.
You tell him, Carver. Let's go explore. Oh, it's already been, wow, 50 minutes. Hey, farmer.
You don't look like the other folk fleeing the south. Were you in the battle?
What makes you think that?
You don't look chastened, so you're not from the wilds. And you're not a farmer. I'd guess you saw some fighting.
Yes, I was with the king's army.
I thought them that survived already marched north with the Tairn. You must be a survivor, or a deserter. Lucky you, I guess.
I have some questions.
Can't promise I'm gonna answer them.
What's going on here?
What isn't? We got chastened barbarians in every farmholder south of Callanhard running from the Darkspawn. Not that they'll be safe here with the army gone.
Who's in charge of this village?
You could talk to the Elder, though she's got her hands full getting everyone on their way. For now, most folks go to Sir Bryant. He's head of the Chantry's Templars.
You don't have a ruling lord?
He's gone to war and taken all his soldiers, leaving us to fend for ourselves. There's not going to be much left when he returns, if he returns.
Were those bandits always outside the village?
Were? You mean they're gone?
Yes, they drove them off.
Well, goody for you. Now there's no one to drive off the blighted refugees. Sir Brian'll be glad, though. He's been talking about offering a reward for anyone who'd run them out.
I should go.
Don't let me stop you.
I want to go home.
I don't think your home is right there, though.
If you're looking for safe shelter, I'll warn you, there's none to be found. Move on if you can. Lothering's lost.
What do you mean?
We've had refugees streaming from the south for the last 2 days. The Chantry and Tavern are full to bursting. There simply isn't enough food to go around, and we Templars can barely keep order. You'd be better off elsewhere, my friend.
Can I ask a few questions?
I'm just out here to keep an eye out for Darkspawn. Please ask someone in town. No offense.
Is anyone in charge here?
The band has marched north with Tern Logain, so Lothering's on its own. Most folks look to Elder Miriam. Otherwise, you could speak to Sir Bryant in the Chantry, I suppose. It's up to you.
Thanks for the help, sir.
Ah, look how they moan and wail and gnash their teeth. 'Tis sad to watch how helplessly they scurry about.
Charming.
Back off. I have the right to charge what I wish.
You profit from their misfortune. I should have the Templars give away everything in your carts.
You wouldn't dare. Any of you step too close to my goods and I'll...
It's so nice to see everyone working together in a crisis. Warms the heart.
Oh, you there. You look able. Would you care to make a tiny profit helping a beleaguered businessman?
Is your profiteering ruffling some feathers?
You could say that, yes.
The nerve of these people!
He is charging outlandish prices for things people desperately need. Their blood is filling his pockets.
'Tis only survival of the fittest. All of these cretins would do the same in his shoes, given the chance.
I have limited supplies. The people decide what those supplies are worth to them.
You bought most of your wares from these very people last week. Now they flee for their lives, and you want to talk business?
Look, stranger, I've 100 silvers if you drive this rabble off, starting with that priest. I'm an honest merchant, nothing more.
You don't think you're being unscrupulous?
Would it help these folks if they could buy no goods at all?
They spend their very last coin because they are desperate, and this man preys upon them as surely as the bandits outside the city.
Ah, I'm not arguing anymore. Drive off this woman and get your 100 silvers. Otherwise, I'm taking my wagon and leaving.
I think you can compromise and still make a profit, no?
Perhaps. If that woman agrees I'm allowed to charge something.
Do what you must, so long as the prices do not beggar the needy.
Fine, fine, done. And since you don't look too needy, normal prices for you.
So, we have come to solve every squabble in the village personally. My, but the Darkspawn will be impressed.
Thank you for your generous assistance. May the Maker watch over your path.
Morgan!
Don't suppose you're looking to buy something?
I am, indeed. Let's see what you have.
All right. Just don't buy everything up.
Depends on what you got. Helmet? That'd be nice. Crafting. Gifts. Always gotta buy the gifts. You don't have a backpack. Phooey. Do you have a helmet? Helmet would be nice. Oh, wrong one. I don't have enough strength. Alistair, you take the helmet then. Morgan, you still don't have gloves. Sorry.
Have you seen my mother?
That depends. Who is your mother?
She's really tall, and she has red hair. We live on a big farmhold, all of us. Some mean men with swords came, and Mother told me to run to the village as fast as I could, so I did. She said she'd be right behind me, but I've been waiting and waiting, and I can't see her.
Do you know where your father is?
He went with William to the neighbours yesterday, but he didn't come back.
Come with me. I'll help you look for your mother.
Mother said I wasn't to go with anyone. I'm supposed to wait for her here, in the village.
Go to the chantry, child. Someone will look after you.
I will, but only if I don't find Mother first. You're a really nice man, kind of like Father. I should go look for Mother now.
Be safe, kid.
Greetings to you, good sir. If it isn't too much to ask, might you spare some bread or anything?
What happened to you?
We thought it would be safer in Lothering, that the Terran would bring his soldiers here. But bandits attacked us and took everything. Our food, our clothes, my daughter's pet lamb. Nobody cares about a few elves. Can you help us?
I met those bandits to draw them off.
That's wonderful news. Perhaps our belongings are still there.
I can't thank you enough, friend. Even if we don't get everything back, it's good to know others will be safe.
Take care, I guess.
It is over.
The chantry board. Yes, let's just run errands for the betterment of mankind as well as a few coppers.
Morgan, are you able to wear these? Nope. Not have enough strength. Bandits! Bandits everywhere! As transcribed on behalf of Sir Bryant, a Templar and defender of the faith. Know that all those who prey upon refugees do so under pain of death. The Maker spurns bandits and their kind. The Templars offer a sizable reward for the apprehension or execution of the bandit leaders plying their trade in the northern wood and roads. Beware, the bandits are numerous and of considerable skill. Only a well-armed and well-trained party should brave the deep wood. We pray for the success of any who undertake this mission. Residents of good standing and passing travelers have indicated there are 3 bandit groups in the northern wood. This humble chanter would echo Sir Brian's caution, lest you wind up another victim to those evil men. The reward for such service is 3 sovereigns. May the Maker look after his children in our hour of need. Oh,
So many strangers are about now.
And Eileen spoke unto the masses, My hearth is yours, my bread is yours, my life is yours. For all who walk in the sight of the Maker are one.
Greetings?
Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels the darkness upon us.
He can't answer you. He's Chanter Devons.
What's a chanter?
One of them that can only say the chant of light. His board has letters of good deeds to be doing. My father fixed Widow Allison's roof once, and the charter paid him, he did.
A learned child is a blessing upon his parents and onto the Maker.
It's like a vow of silence then? He can't talk normally?
Unless it's the chant of light, no.
And so Rajmael in the heathen temple recanted. Speak only the word, sing only the chant, then the golden city is thine, spoke Andraste.
A chanter says what?
What?
Oh, you got him to speak! Ha!
What hath man's sin wrought?
Oh, he cheated.
Have anything of interest on the board?
Blessed are the peacekeepers, champions of the just.
Oop.
The legions of evil are on your doorstep. They will feast upon our hearts. There is nowhere to run. This evil will cover the world like a plague of locusts.
Please, you're scaring the children.
Better to slit their throats now than let them suffer at Darkspawn hands. There! One of their minions is already amongst us. This man bears their evil stench. Can you not see the vile blackness that fills him?
Why don't you keep your voice down?
I watch the Black Horde descend on my people. I will not be silent.
Please stop! Somebody shut his mouth!
But isn't he right? The ban left us. We're going to die.
This minion is but the first of those who will destroy us!
Don't be a fool. Darkspawn can be defeated.
No! I have seen them! You cannot run! You cannot fight!
Standing around and shouting won't save you.
There is nothing to do! No hope is left!
We Ferelden's have fought far worse in our past.
Are you calling me a coward?
I'm calling you an idiot. Listen to yourself for a moment.
I have shamed my ancestors. But the blackness will come.
He was right, wasn't he? There's no hope for us.
There's always hope. Muster your courage.
You're right. We can't give up.
But we can't fight. What are we supposed to do?
We can't lie down and die either. We must go north to Denerim.
Chin up, people. Ooh. There's a notice on the Chanter's board about bandit groups lurking north of Lothering. There are 3 groups in all, and they must be eradicated. I got a helmet here that I can wear. Check out my new fancy helmet.
Maybe with that blasted chasing gone, my headache will go as well.
Maybe.
If you seek refuge in the Chantry, there's simply no room left.
You're closed?
We turn none aside, but we simply don't have room for anyone to sleep. Priests are within if you seek to offer devotion to the Maker, however. May he protect us all.
Who's in charge of this Chantry?
The revered Mother runs the Chantry itself, and Sir Bryant heads the Templars stationed here.
Did you know there were bandits on the highway?
Were? Did you drive them off? Well, Sir Bryant will appreciate that.
Have you heard any news?
Not since Tairn Logain passed by with his army. It's a shame about the king. But with the Darkspawn coming, few can think of anything else.
Goodbye.
Make her watch over you.
Morgan, can we talk?
What do you wish of me? If you must. What do you wish of me? We are hardly alone, so privacy is not an option. It is your question, however. Ask what you will. I am here because Flemeth commanded me to aid you. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer. Then I assume our discussion ends here.
Dang it! Aw, we were doing so good. Ah, no. Phooey. I'm messing up. No! Ooh, Alistair killed an ogre. Well, we've been going for over an hour, so I think this is probably a good place to end for now. Next time, we'll continue exploring Lothering. So, if you liked this video, let me know in the comments. If you really liked it, press that cute little like button. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Luke Dog, and I'll see you next time.